Good morning from day 5. Friday was day 1, Saturday day 2, Sunday day 3, Monday day 4. Today's Tuesday, May the 7th, I believe. So it's day 5. And we just started off from our campsite within the last 15 minutes. And Riley has a nice bounce to his step. I got him dinner before we went to bed, and then we both slept very well. I feel like I've finally, certainly by this point I have acclimated to sleeping outside, and especially after a long day and I'm really tired, I just, once everything's done and we're ready to turn in the tent, I just fall asleep so easily. And last night I got my Kindle out thinking I might do a little reading before going to bed, but I could feel just as I was about to lay my head down that there was no way I was going to be able to stay awake very long to do any productive reading, so I didn't even bother turning it on, and I probably was fast asleep like within a couple minutes after putting my head down. And yeah, that's one of the best things that I like about being out here, is just getting such great sleep. And we got off to not a super slow start this morning, but a relaxed start. I heard the birds chirping for a while and just kind of got up once I felt like I was ready to get up. So it's not cool anymore. We kind of missed the cool walking weather. It's I would say mild temperatures. And yeah, like I said, Riley's got a good bounce to his step this morning. He got breakfast this morning as well, some of his freeze-dried food, and I got a 6-pack of bagels of plain bagels at Mountain Crossings Outfitters. And I'm a little low on dog food, so I'm supplementing his dog food with a bagel each meal. And I think that'll be enough to get us to the next hostel at Dix Creek Gap, around the bend hostel, where we have a resupply of his dog food coming. And that should be, yeah, so today's Thursday, and we should be able to get there at least by Thursday, and the bag is expected to arrive on Thursday. So yeah, off to a good start today. We'll see what happens and we'll check in later. So it's still morning time, and day's going well. Riley's been hiking strong today. Yesterday and today, since we left Neal Gap, we've pretty much been hiking by ourselves. I saw some other hikers at the campsite last night, and we passed some guys that were camped towards the end of the day yesterday. And this morning, we saw some hikers pass us while we were still getting our stuff ready. But while we've been hiking, we haven't seen any other hikers like behind us or ahead of us in the near vicinity. So it's felt like we've had the trail to ourselves. And so that's allowed us and Riley to just hike at our own pace. Because if there's someone behind us, Riley's going to be aware of them and is often going to be stopping if we get too far ahead, which slows us down a bit. And if there's someone ahead of us, then Riley's just going to want to charge forward to get ahead of them. And if they let us ahead of them, then they're going to be close behind us, and Riley's going to try to push to stay ahead. And so he's probably going to be walking faster than we're doing right now. So I feel like I actually prefer hiking by ourselves, because it doesn't slow us down if someone is behind us and we're waiting on them frequently. And if someone has a faster pace than us, then Riley is able to preserve his energy. He can definitely keep up, but like a couple days ago when we were walking with Twofer, Riley was doing awesome. He was hustling the whole day, but I was worried that he was just wearing himself out. So we were able to make good miles in a short amount of time. But I get concerned that Riley's putting too much stress on himself. So I do kind of like this chance to walk by ourselves and just go at our own pace. And today Riley's been walking great. He's not charging forward, but he's not taking any extended breaks. He is stopping a few times to sniff things on the side of the trail, but it's not like he doesn't want to hike. Yeah, so it's still morning time. Not sure, haven't looked at my phone, so I'm not sure what time it is. But the day is going well so far, and the trail has been really pleasant so far. It's mostly been flat, kind of like this, and very minimal rocks to look out for. So it's been, I haven't really needed my trekking poles to help balance myself at all. So we are just kind of cruising and enjoying the day. We passed many campsites on the side of the trail. It's nice to know that there's, I knew from previous hikes, but in some parts of the trail there's a good, I guess, density of campsites along the trail, and then in other parts they're more spread out. And it's always comfortable to know when there's a higher density of campsites, just so that when you're hiking in the night, you're not going to have to hike too far before you can find a place to stop. So there's not too many clouds in the sky, so the sun is shining down well, and that's causing it to feel a little warm. A little warmer than I'd like, but that just means we'll need to stop, I guess, more frequently to take water breaks. So we'll check in a bit. We stopped for our first break of the day. Just found a nice campsite right over here, and Riley's drinking some water, which I love. I think we're hiking well today. It's nice to get off to a good start, and it's nice to take some breaks as well. So that's all for now. We'll check in later. So we're playing the game again. We got two hikers a little bit behind us. The trail actually continues this way, but Riley is patiently waiting for them to catch up. I think they're back there filling up on their water. And the game is, when they catch up, charge ahead. And when they get behind, stop and look back until they show their faces. And then charge ahead. So we got some clouds overhead finally. The sun is not shining directly on us. I feel like it's about mid-afternoon, possibly late afternoon, and temperature is not quite as hot, but it's still feeling warm, especially since we're still walking strong. Riley's breathing hard there. But I'm thinking it should, the high heat of the day I think is over, and it should start to cool down gradually from here. pleasant sound of the stream passing by all the way down there. Riley, when are they going to come? How long of a rest are you going to get? Uh-oh, they're coming. They're coming. Here we go. All right, time to charge ahead. Oh, there's a stick. All right. We'll check in a bit. So we have taken a break here. We just made it down the trail coming that way. And this right here is called Chattahoochee Gap. And when we got here, there were 3 other hikers taking a break. And about maybe a couple minutes ago, they continued north down that trail. And Riley, when they started walking that way, Riley started yelping, and he's slowed down a bit. But he still would love to just run after them and catch them in like 30 seconds. Yes, it's okay, Riley. It's okay. So if we were to start hiking again, Riley would just be charging forward with so much energy, and he would just tire himself out. It's okay, Riley. So I think what we should do is stay here for a little bit in the hopes that Riley might possibly calm down, so that when we start hiking, we can just hike at a normal pace. Anyway, so yeah, like I said, we're at Chattahoochee Gap now. I have my guidebook out, and Chattahoochee Gap is shown right here. Mile 47.9. Riley. So we've actually done 9.5 miles today. We started at mile 38.4 on the other page here, just after Hogpen Gap. So we're making decent progress. I was hoping to do at least 10 miles, and it seems like we will get that easily, and we'll probably make it at least to Blue Mountain Shelter, and we might be able to continue further to find a campsite. So we will see. Good boy, Riley. Good boy. Okay, we'll check in later. So Riley and I are back here. We have made it to Blue Mountain Shelter, and we have since passed on. We got to the shelter about 5:20 after a particularly rocky section coming up Blue Mountain. And there were already several people at the shelter, several people setting their tents up. And we took a pretty long break there. Riley got a good power nap in, and I was chatting with some of the guys there. But it just felt too early to stop for the night. So I decided to continue on. When I suggested it to Riley, he was comfortably resting, but he got up very quickly. And my pack was kind of a distance away from us, and so we walked back to the pack, and Riley seemed like he had a good amount of energy, seemed pretty playful, so I figured he would be fine with continuing on for a little bit longer. So we're currently ascending the rest of Blue Mountain, and then once we get to the top, it's going to be all downhill until we get to Unicoi Gap, where there's a some type of highway that goes through there. And I'm thinking once we get down to Unicoi Gap, then we can just take the next campsite that we find. So that's my plan. That's our plan for the day. I think we're both feeling fine. When we got to Blue Mountain Shelter a little while ago, we had done 11.8 miles on the day. So wherever we end up today, it'll probably be close to like 14 miles, which will make it our biggest day yet so far on the AT. But yeah, things are fine right now. It's the air is still, it's not windy, it's not hot anymore. And we have plenty of daylight left to get to find a campsite. So we're gonna do that, and we will check back in later on once we get a campsite. Bye for now. This is the descent down Blue Mountain. A little bit of a rocky stretch here. Not too bad though. Riley's hiking very well. All right, so we have made it to Unicoi Gap. Just did a long descent down Blue Mountain. Okay. And there's a little 4-lane highway here with lots of traffic. Well, not lots of traffic, but when the cars go by, you can hear them from the trail. So we're going to continue on to the other side of the trail and see what our camping options are. Riley did an awesome job coming down from Blue Mountain Shelter. He got his energy up with the power nap there, and the once we started the descent and going through the rocks, that really invigorated him, and he's walking really well. So they got a nice parking area over there. And I can see a trailhead sign over there. All right, so we'll check in a bit. So this is the trailhead sign that I was mentioning. Let's take a look at the map here. So right down here is Woody Gap, which was about mile 20 on the trail, and the AT looks like it's in orange. And Hogpen Gap, this is where we started the day, just like 0.1 miles after that, crossed by Low Gap Shelter, and then here's Blue Mountain Shelter that we were at just a little while ago. And now we're at Unicoi Gap. Very nice. And that continues all the way up here. And the AT. Riley, hold up, buddy. So the AT continues right there. There's a white blaze over there. And they also have a really cool, Riley, come here. On this big rock here, they've included a nice engraving for the Appalachian Trail. AT 1934, the Georgia Appalachian Trail Club, a footpath for those who seek fellowship with the wilderness. Georgia to Maine. Very nice. You ready, Riley? Just a little bit more, Riley. Let's find a campsite. All right, we'll check back in a bit. So, Riley and I are still ascending the mountain from Unicoi Gap. The mountain is called Rocky Mountain. And I am very tired and out of breath. And Riley's tired as well. The mountain has been very steep so far. And we haven't found any campsites yet. But I checked my guidebook a little while ago. And I was able to confirm that within 7/10 of a mile after the gap, there is a spring with water. And then 7/10 of a mile after that, there is definitely a campsite. So at maximum, we will need to have hiked 1.4 miles from the gap, from the parking area where we were just at. And we've already hiked a good chunk of that, but it's been all uphill, pretty steep. Just lots of rocks that act as steps to hike over. And after a long day of hiking, we're both ready for a break. So we've already taken like a couple breaks while coming up, and I'm taking another break right now. So we're not upset, we're just tired, and we're gonna get there. We have plenty of light. By the way, one thing that I started noticing in the past couple days is there's these cool trees with those orange flowers, bright orange flowers. They look very pretty. Like most of the stuff out here is green or shades of green, and so the orange provides just a nice variation of the color around here. The one on the right, it doesn't look like it's in full bloom yet, whereas the one on the left looks like it's closer to full bloom. And there's another one up there. So Riley's doing great, but I know he's gonna be excited to get to our campsite and eat his dinner, and then I'm sure he's gonna plop down quickly and go to sleep when we get the tent set up. Also, there's these other cool, I'm much closer to this, there's these other cool flowers that are like lavender or purplish in color. I like the orange ones better, but these lavender ones are nice too. So we will check back in when we get to a campsite. We're just gonna take our time getting there because we're both tired. So check back in later. So this is the spring that I was referencing, that I believe is 0.7 miles at minimum from the gap. And look at this beautiful water source. So it's coming all the way from up there, and this is the best place to get it. Nice and cold to the touch. So I've filled up all of our empty bottles, and we are going to be well hydrated tonight. All right, let's go get our campsite, Riley. All right, good news. We just hiked up a little bit further. Just been a few minutes since we got the water, and we have a beautiful campsite right here. All right, Riley, lead the way. All right, very nice. So I think there's plenty of options to choose from. That spot right there looks very good. And there's all this land back here. Looks like some nice grass up there. So we will find our spot, and yeah, we'll get set up, and this feels great. Always feels good to find our campsite at the end of a long day. All right, bye for now. So I just want to close the day out. Riley is sleeping right now, and it's about 10 o'clock. Riley and I have both eaten our dinner, and we are in our tent now. Gonna be going to bed soon. So today we started this is day 5, and it's Tuesday, May the 7th.
and today we started just past Hogpen Gap at mile 38.4, and we finished at a campsite on the ascent of Rocky Mountain, and according to my Far Out app, the mileage here is 53.4. So that means that we did 15 miles exactly today. So that's our biggest day yet. Yeah, that's how the day went. We got into the campsite. It was still light out, but everything takes a long time, and we didn't get into our tent until it was already dark. And now we're just going to sleep, and it's already 10 o'clock. So I should, going forward, I mean, yeah, it's fun to have days like this, but it would also be nice to get into camp earlier so that we can get to sleep earlier and we don't have to do too much stuff in the dark. But that's just something to work on. And yeah, all in all, a good day. And we will, so the goal for the next few days is, we're currently at mile 53.4, and it's Tuesday, and I ordered a package of dog food for Riley to be picked up on Thursday. It's going to be sent to the hostel at Dix Creek Gap, around the Bend hostel. So that means we have, yes, and that hostel is Dix Creek Gap is located at mile 69.3, I believe. So that means we have about 16 miles to go. So if we get there tomorrow, that would be another big day. We could also just get there on Thursday, in which case we could get there early in the day on Thursday probably. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. But yeah, things are going well. So we'll say goodnight. Bye for now.